Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create your own Lightroom preset. I'm going to be walking you step by step, and then I'm going to give it to you in a download link so you can use it for yourself. I'm also going to be giving you a massive discount code for all my current preset packs somewhere in the video, so make sure to stay tuned and check it out. And before we get into this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell button to not miss any of my future uploads. And let's get right into the video. Okay, so we are going to be working on this photo here. I took it recently for one of my clients. You can actually see the behind the scenes here. I'm going to put it in the cards so you can check it out if you like. So as you see, this photo here is quite nicely lit. I actually really like the light, even though it was quite harsh. It was in the middle of the day. But yeah, I just wanted to say before I get into this creation of the presets, I usually work a bit different when I create presets for myself versus when I create presets for you, because when I create them for myself, I create them for a specific shoot, versus when I create them for you, I need to make them a bit more universal and a bit more usable. So I wouldn't change as many of those things when I do them for you, because I want you to be able to use them. But anyway, we are going to start with choosing our profile. So as you see, we have all the Adobe profiles here, and then we can go to browse, because I never really use the Adobe profiles because I find them quite dull and just not as nice, to be honest. So what I would usually do is I would go into the camera profiles. Each camera company has different camera profiles. This is a Canon one, for example. As you see, each photo kind of looks different. I usually go for the standard because I just feel like it's the most usable, and I just keep this one here. I usually choose the ones that are a bit less vivid because I find it's easier to just change my own colors afterwards, and I just do it this way. After I have that done, I go into camera profile correction and I go here, and I usually bring down the distortion, just depending on the shoot again, but I usually do that. I just take it down and I just keep the vignetting up, or maybe even more, depending. You can see in the corners of the image if it needs a bit more brightening or not, but it's usually, I just usually leave it around 100. Once I have that done, I go back up, and I don't really want any harsh highlights or shadows in my photos because that's just the style that I go for. So I usually lower the highlights, lower the whites halfway or even full way, depending. I usually like to make my images quite dull to start with, and then same with shadows. I kind of bring them up and up, so as you see here, and then because of that I can bring the exposure down quite a bit. Perfect. I won't use the contrast until the very end. Sometimes I even do it after skin retouching. This is obviously before. Now another thing is I'll probably bring the vibrance down maybe around 10 or 12. Again, I like to kind of keep the images as neutral as possible because I find it kind of works really well. So here I have all my colors. So here's different colors and how I have them. I will work with skin on orange, so I'll just do different colors here. It usually depends on the model's skin tone. Because my model is black, I want to make sure that her skin is not too red. I usually do tend to go towards the hues that are a bit more red, but again, as I said, because her skin is dark, I kind of want to make sure that I don't make it look too reddish because it just looks not that nice. So I'll maybe go something very subtle, maybe like -3. Then I'll go lower the saturation a tiny bit. I usually like to do that because, especially if the skin is glowy, it makes it look really nice. So I'll go maybe -25. And then in luminance, I will usually darken or brighten the skin tone. As you see, it also changes the tone of the sand. I don't really want to make it much darker, but I do like it kind of maybe -10 because it adds a tiny bit of depth. -9, whatever. Yellow, I think it's going to change mostly the sand. Yeah, as you see, so sand in the background and her swimsuit. So sometimes it affects the skin tones, especially if girls are paler, I find, but usually orange is the way to go. So I would probably go for something a bit more reddish here as well. Bring down the saturation again, quite a lot actually, because I do like the sand to be a bit more desaturated looking. And then you can brighten it or darken it. I kind of like brightening it because it makes the sand look kind of nice and bright. Maybe I should make it a bit more green. I don't know. Yeah, actually green could be quite nice. Okay, then I'm going to move. There's no greens in this image, but if there was any loose greens, I would usually bring them up here, and then I would bring the saturation down. But as I said, there's nothing, so I'll just leave it empty. With aqua, I don't think there's much. I think it's mostly, yeah, I think it's mostly blue that we have, so I'll leave this. With blue, I usually go either like this color, but usually I've actually been walking away from this kind of shade a bit. So what I would do is maybe I'll do, again, -16, lower down the saturation. Maybe a tiny bit more, yeah, here. Not too much, maybe -10. And then with luminance, I'm going to darken the background because I feel it looks really nice with the current skin tone. That's nice, okay. Now, I don't have any purples and magenta, so I usually just leave that as it is. Now I'm going to go into highlights and shadows. So with highlights, I usually like to balance it with whatever the skin tones are. So it usually goes kind of towards the greenish colors, as you see here. This is just as a guide. I obviously bring it down afterwards. So I probably go maybe 6 or 5. I keep it very subtle, but it just, when I set it up, it just helps me see what kind of tones they are. So I'm going to go into 8, maybe 9. And then with shadows, I'm going to go again, bring it up just as a guide, and maybe go, I'm not sure what color yet, let's see. We could do yellow. Blue is usually pretty nice to balance tones, I find, if you keep it low enough. So I kind of like this one. Okay. So we're gonna do that. With sharpening, I usually have it set automatically to 30 or 40. And then I'm leaving the vignetting down. And then here in the last bit, I don't usually use the calibration. I only do it from time to time. I'm gonna do it for you here. So as you see here, it changes. For some reason, I actually like this image to be quite green. And then maybe slightly bit more yellow. I do like the reddish tones and a bit of a bluer kind of sky. So I might be do +19. And then I kind of like this as well. And then we bring down the saturation a tiny bit. So -6, -21. Okay guys, so here's the big sale code. It's Secret Sale 40. It's available for all my preset packs, mobile and full. It's 40% off of everything, so enjoy it. It's available on my website, anitasadowska.eu. You can get it everywhere. It's going to be available for a short amount of time only, so make sure not to miss it out. And let's continue with the video. Okay, so we have this guy here. We are going to add some contrast into this image because I feel like it needs it, as you see here. Actually, what I also always do is I use some dehaze because it always adds nice color. So here, and then maybe with the contrast, maybe +23. And as you see, it has changed the dynamics of the image a tiny bit. So I'm going to go back to oranges, bring down the saturation a tiny bit. As you see, we have quite a lot of reds in her skin. So you see here, those patches, they are more red. So as you see here, I'm showing you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to keep it on 0, but I'm just going to bring it down in color as well, so it kind of matches, and maybe even brighten it a tiny bit, depending. You see, it kind of adds quite a lot of contour to her skin, which I actually really like. I'm just going to keep it on -10, I think. Okay, so there we go. And then that's pretty good. And now I just need to bring the vibrance down because I feel like the image is way too saturated. Just don't like it as much. Maybe the saturation as well. And now I'll maybe bring up the highlights a tiny bit, or sorry, not highlights, just exposure. Maybe -30. And then might bring back the vibrance a tiny bit. I might go back into the blues and just bring it down a tiny bit, and maybe -20, and then darken it even a tiny bit more. Okay, so as you see, here is the final preset. So this is the before and this is the after. So once I have that done, I'm going to create the preset here. So that's the main thing. Once I have all those settings, I go into presets, I press plus, create presets. I usually have a group, so we can create a group, let's say here, new group. How to make presets. I'll just create that just so you guys know. And then it'll be preset 1. So here in settings, I usually just select everything. You don't necessarily have to select transform, for example, if you don't want it cropped, if you cropped it a certain way and so on. But usually I just keep everything in and I just press create, and that's it. You see here how to make presets, and it's preset 1. So now if we go to any other photo, this was color graded already, but if we delete this here, you can see straight away here, it applies it. So as you see here, it looks good. I just need to brighten the image and it's good to go. Okay, so that's it for today. As I mentioned, you can download this preset down below. It's going to be available to you to download. As I said, usually I create a lot of presets. When I do create them, I have hundreds and hundreds, and then I select my favorites from that. If you see here, I have, you know, all those presets here that are different ones, because it just helps, because every single photo is affected differently by a preset. So just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind that it will change accordingly to different images, and you just have to go with that and just kind of plan as you go. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to check out my secret discount that was mentioned in this video. If you missed it, make sure to rewatch the video again to check it out. And I hope you are going to enjoy your new presets if you do decide to get some, or if not, you will at least enjoy making your own. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!